Hey, what's up? This is Eric from Testament and DRAGONLORD, and you're listening to Sonic Perspective.
Hey everyone, Gonzo with Sonic Perspectives here. I've had a pretty good weekend because over the course of just a few days, I was able to talk to not one, but two of my boyhood heroes. I just got off the phone with none other than Eric Peterson of Testament and DRAGONLORD, and he was kind enough to give me a few minutes of his time to talk about the first DRAGONLORD album to come out in 13 years. Dominion is coming out in September 2018. But first, we talked about the tour that Eric is currently on. So, let's drop in right there. Eric, you guys have been on the road most of the summer on Slayer's Farewell Tour. That's got to be a pretty huge honor.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's been great. Good crowds, good lineup, and long tour.
Yeah, we're talking in the middle of August 2018 right now. You guys have been on the road for how many months now?
Yeah, right. I don't. It's been a while. We started this. Well, we did the first leg, which was like 6-7 weeks, and then we took a short break and did some festivals in Europe and jumped back on this. Now we got this one's probably 5-6 weeks, and we got 2 more weeks to go.
Wow, cool. So how you guys feeling about it? I mean, how is everything? I mean, you get to see all these huge crowds, thanks to this big thing that Slayer's doing. I'm sure you're making some new fans even now.
Oh yeah. Well, we're definitely getting we're definitely playing in front of a lot of people, which is cool. Mm-hmm. And it's just great to be out here with these bands that we're on tour with, hanging out with Anthrax and Lamb of God and Napalm Death and Slayer. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's given you the chance to catch up with your old drummer, Paul. He's been on again, off again with Testament for a long time, and now he's back with Slayer. How's he doing?
He's doing good. Yeah, I see him here and there. Like, hey. Our schedules are all kind of different, so it's not as... I know I'm more probably elusive. I mean, all of us, we don't party every night, so... Sorry, everybody. No. But no, I mean, it's pretty cool, though. I mean, it's you kind of see everybody in catering, I guess, the most. It's kind of cool.
Everybody's got to eat, right?
Exactly.
I realized earlier that I've seen Slayer with Paul. I've seen Testament with Paul and Gene. I've seen Paul's old band Forbidden with Gene, and of course, every drummer that Slayer has had has also been in Testament.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So from the outside, for the outsider like me, it kind of seems like that speaks to how tightly knit the California thrash community is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right. I was just thinking like some other drummers. I'm like, oh yeah, Daddy was put on our live record. I don't think he ever did any Slayer records, but and then there's Paul and Lombardo. Yeah.
Cool. So
pretty cool.
Yeah. So you and the Testament guys have had a really, really busy year with like the Slayer tour that we've been talking about and Chuck's Tech of Business Ventures. Alex is putting out 2 albums this year. You have a new DRAGONLORD coming out very soon.
Yeah, next month.
Yeah. So like, how on earth have you guys had the time to do all this?
Well, for me, I've been working on the DRAGONLORD record for the last 5 years.
Uh-huh.
It just 4 or 5 years, just kind of like in between scheduling, in between tours, in between records, just, chipping away at it, getting it done. So that's how I did that one. That one took quite a while. Not so much, time spending on it, but just in between and a lot of breaks, which made for what it is, the beast that it is. I mean, it was, you got to really sit back and look at it and, rather than doing it all at once, there is a lot of perspective and like, could maybe do something like this now. Or, of course, once the drums are laid down, I mean, the song's solid as it is. So it was more of a, orchestrations could change or, the lyrics, getting the lyrics right.
Have you come across something that over the 5 years that you've been doing this, that you've decided that you wanted to do entirely different and just like scrapped it entirely and rebuilt it?
Well, the mix wise, yeah, we went through a couple different mixes, but the last one, I think we got it right. Just from listening to like the first ones, like like a year ago, going, oh man, now sounds way better. So there's a lot of different instruments going on all at once on a lot of different parts. So that was the challenge, was to be able to hear everything at one point. And I could hear it in my head. So if I'm like, well, if I can hear it all in my head, I mean, there's got to be a way that we can hear it in the speakers. So that was a big battle not a battle, but just with my producer, the guy that I was mixing with, Juan, just finding the right place for everything. And it took a while, but we finally came up with a formula that worked. And yeah, I mean, I'm so, with all the waiting and, all the tardiness, I was never given a problem without some kind of gift or some kind of something better, waiting, but we had to work for it. So
yeah, and I imagine that the 5 years has given the material itself the opportunity to evolve.
Yeah, exactly. Especially being able to go back and go, you know what, I'm gonna, well, not even changing things, just waiting to put stuff down. Especially the lyrics, vocal patterns and stuff. The last two were the most challenging ones, to finding the right topic, which was Serpents of Fire, and the Discord of Melkor, which is based off the genesis of the first age of the Lord of the Rings. So that was pretty interesting, writing that and how that came for that song, which is perfect because of the whole orchestration part in the middle, which resembles, the Anyor being directed by, I guess, God, Ewa. And, just the whole book, the Silmarillion.
Silmarillion.
I have to have it in front of me. I'm like, wait. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that book was a big part of that one. The whole storyboard of that, and how Tolkien took the genesis of kind of the Bible, I guess, and just made his own world with it.
That sounds very interesting. Can you talk a little bit about the material on the record? Because like the promos haven't gone out. The only thing that we've heard on the outside is the song Dominion, which by the way slays, and I love it. But like, yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about how the rest of the album sounds?
Well, there's a lot of different, definitely a lot of different vibes going on. It goes from Dominion. It starts off with this intro, which is called Entrance, and it's got these creaking gates, and then you hear like a storm, and then it's got this commanding backwards sounding riff, which takes you right into Dominion, and it really works well. I mean, I love intros, but sometimes it's better just to come in all guns blazing. But this one just all of the DRAGONLORD records have intros, and this one just really worked, I think, the best. When you get in the middle of the record, it slows down, and we have this slow song that's got clean guitars, and it's, I don't want to say ballad, but it's like Sabbath meets DRAGONLORD. I don't know. It's just got this kind of Sabbathy sound to it, and I don't even think I scream in it once. It's a lot of clean singing, and it's kind of a duet with my friend Leah. She redid all the female choir stuff on the record, and the song is based off of the Dante's Inferno, and it's more of a story about the character Beatrice, her falling in love with the Prince of Darkness. And Dante's Inferno, she is uplifted and released from the underworld, but in this one she kind of stays and falls in love with the maestro.
So it kind of sounds like
stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like the lyrical content is really inspired by a lot of like literature. And it's very cinematic. I mean, when you hear the music, you can almost picture a movie, or something. So
It was inspired. A lot of stuff that I wrote on this record with Lyle, the keyboard player, is very, very cinematic. I mean, just, epic scenes from Braveheart or, Star Wars. And we're just fans of all that stuff, especially a lot of animation stuff like Berserker and, Princess Mononoke, just a lot of different crazy realism animation, not so much goofy, more if Braveheart was an animation kind of stuff. So yeah.
Wow. So so it sounds like it's I don't want to say professorial, I don't want to say literate, but it kind of seems like it's expanding out towards like almost geeky territory, and like black metal for geeks. That prospect is something that I love.
Yeah, it could be, definitely. I mean, there was a comic, born out of this graphic novel style. The mascot was called the Burner, who's from Planet X, the red planet, which is kind of a theory, I guess, people have of this planet around our Milky Way that the astronomers have seen and could mess up our whole, I don't know, get all into theory and whatnot. But anyway, so that's where he comes from. And then on the cover is one of the meteors, one of the asteroids that come to the planet, our planet. And it's like it's been awakened, and it's a dragon, coming out of the planet. And it goes into this volcano kind of liquid, I guess, and that's where it's born. And it's got this guy on the cover with the death mask on. He's got like the Newton balls. So it's there's a story within the story of everything. And there's a lot of threes on the record. Mm-hmm. A lot of weird things by accident that were, this whole record. I always call it the Ouija board record because it's just kind of guided itself.
Huh.
And that's what the comic's about. It's about telepathy with this character called the Burner, who's been here on Earth, a couple of different times through history. One looking for the wolves, the wolves in sheep's clothing through religion, and burning down churches for, in that sense, not so much for, against religion, but just finding the darkness and the light. And he's kind of like that Spawn character kind of trip. And then he finds me, and I'm writing this music, but I'm thinking it, but it's actually his thoughts, and he knows it, and he kind of finds me, and it's kind of a trippy story, but it came out really cool. I mean, the art, and I had some good help from some pros, people that have worked with Lady Mechanica, Dead Ahead, which was inspired. I guess the TV show got inspired. Not the Walking Dead, but the other one.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, the other one.
Yeah, it's
Fear
not
of the
there.
Walking Dead.
Okay.
Fear of the Walking Dead, is that it? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
But anyway, so just getting involved with those people and them, turning my character into something, it's pretty awesome.
Huh. And this sounds like it's something very different from like the cinematic black metal that we're used to.
Well, I had to find a different outlet. I think different platform for DRAGONLORD, since I'm not able to, or I'm probably not going to tour extensively on this, or I'd definitely like to do some shows, but I'm trying to find something different for it to have some kind of life on. And I think through animation, I mean, my goal would be to have like a short, something like Castlevania or something, get the right people behind it, and the music just would be perfect for that.
So like to have DRAGONLORD music on a video game?
Well, no, more of like graphic novel style animation.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Castlevania that's what I meant. So, yeah, you're right. Castlevania is a game, but they made an animation 4 series part on it, and it's pretty cool.
Oh, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, you could check it out. I think it's on Netflix. You just Google Castlevania.
Cool. I will look for that. Thank you for the heads up.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't really aware about your love for extreme metal until until the Testament album Demonic came out in '97. But I'm sure your love for extreme metal goes back farther than that, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's where I started with Testament. I mean, before Testament, Legacy I was more on the darker side. The band evolved into more of a melodic thrash band, but I always had was always into the darker kind of stuff. So yeah, right around then, maybe '99, I just really decided to, instead of trying to push that style onto Testament, I thought I would do something on my own.
Okay.
And we weren't touring a whole lot. Chuck was actually working at a day job too, so we were in a kind of a weird timing. But I was like, yeah, I got some time. I might as well bang something out.
So, like, how did you assemble that first incarnation of DRAGONLORD? I mean, like, you and Steve DiGiorgio obviously knew each other already. Like, how did everything else fall together?
Well, he was in the band, and he introduced me to Lyle, the keyboard player, and from there it just took on its own. When we jammed together, it just kind of took on this whole thing, and I just kind of borrowed members from the evolving door of Testament of the musicians, and the second record was more of like a band. The first record was more just, hey, you want to jam on the record, This newest one is more like just more about me and the keyboard player, and then special guests Leah and Alex Bent.
Okay. So this is more of a project and less of a band then.
Yeah.
This time around.
Okay. As far as recording, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it's been like 13 years since that last DRAGONLORD album came out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. A whole decade. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been keeping pretty busy with
Testament. When you hear it, yeah, but when you hear it though, I don't think you lose. It isn't like, oh my God, that sounds like a different, time period. It's still relevant. When I hear it, I'm like, oh my God, it's something about metal though. I think in the 2000s, it's like we don't have periods of like how music evolved from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. The 2000s are just, I don't know. It's a good thing that it's kind of, we just waiting for something new to come. But,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a good thing though. I mean, it's the formula of the orchestra and the epicness and the cinematic and the 70s style guitar lead sections, transformed into black metal, and then my new style of singing kind of, I guess, just all adds up to, I mean, to me, I'm super stoked about it.
The one song that I've heard, Dominion, I mean, it sounds very fresh. It sounds very contemporary. It sounds like DRAGONLORD, but and I hear there was an obvious reference there for like Covenant and Old Man's Child and that sort of thing. But like I hear a greater sense, like an even greater sense of confidence and aptitude, even than I did before. So
yeah, it was just like I said, just having the time to get it right, to get the mix right, and all those little parts, the French horns and the flutes and the harps and just everything, getting it mixed in there right with the bass licks. And a lot of times you miss all that stuff. Like this kind of music, there's so much going on. A lot of times a lot of stuff gets buried and the guitars get turned up, and I wasn't all for that. I was like, I don't care if the guitars are brought back down. I mean, once they hear the other parts, everything will shine through.
I was a little surprised to see that Steve Smythe and Steve DiGiorgio weren't involved this time around.
Yeah. Well, DiGiorgio was involved with the first one, and that was more definitely a project for him.
Okay.
So on this one, I just wanted to handle the guitars myself,
Okay.
I had too many ideas, and just even with the bass, I did the bass myself. I'm kind of a closet bass player myself. So, all the ideas were there, and I just thought, it's a project. I might as well just keep it in the, make it easy and just get it done.
Okay.
We do have one guest appearance though by Tilan Hudrup, a friend of mine. He's in Pestilence now. He's from Slovenia. He played on the Discord and Melkor. At one point when we were thinking of doing a band thing, he was going to be a part of it, and it just, kept getting pushed back. And I ended up just doing the tracks, and I saved that one for him. So it's cool to have him on that.
Was DRAGONLORD the first time that you'd ever sung in a band?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, is that something that you just started doing right when DRAGONLORD came together, or like, what's the story behind your history behind the mic? I mean, we haven't heard a whole lot about that.
Neither have I.
Well,
so the way it happened was I just had the idea in my head, and I remember going when I got to Sweden to record it. I recorded with Daniel Bergström, the first record, in Uppsala, Sweden, and he's like, "Yeah, so we got, we've heard your demos, but we haven't heard the vocals yet. How are the vocals going?" I'm like, "Well, let's go find out." And he goes, "Well, you don't have a demo?" And I'm like, "No." He goes, "Have you sang it before?" And I'm like, "In my head." So I know it's crazy, but I knew what I was capable of just from the backups that I've done in Testament and the screaming and doing backups on, records and whatnot. And I just felt confident enough that I knew that I was going to pull that vocal out. And, a couple of shots of JD, and I just was ready to go. The only thing that came different was the clean singing. I didn't know I had anything to offer. And once I laid down a couple of tracks, I think it was on Born to Darkness, I was Born to Darkness. No, I doubled some of the cleaning things, and I was like, wow. And they're like, you sound good like that. So, that's how that all came about. So it was pretty cool.
Wow. So you just kind of did it just because there was no one else to do it, and that's it. It just happened to sound great.
I had ideas of other people, but I knew that I had this, like Chuck would call it, the Wicked Witch voice. And I just thought, I went there really on a whim, like, this better work.
Mm.
And it did, it came out really good. I was really happy. I got more, each song got more confidence. I think by the time I got to Wolf Hunt, I had this really crazy, the first singer of Darkane kind of had this kind of really, nasally, scratchy, I was really tripping on like people like that. And he actually helped
Lawrence, right?
Yeah, Lawrence. Yeah, he helped write a song, "Spirits of the Mist." It was just really cool. I mean, he came out and let him hear it and told him that was a big influence and stuff like that. So,
cool. How'd you manage to get him out of hiding? Because I don't think he was active in music at the time, was he?
I guess Daniel Bergström knew him.
Okay.
And, I had told him that about, that I was a fan of him, and I loved that because Daniel had done that record, Rusted Angel, I think it's called.
Yeah, Rusted Angel.
Yeah. So I really liked his tone. It was really nasally kind of. It wasn't even black metal. It was more just wicked screaming kind of, but melodic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good to hear that there's somebody else that's a fan of that guy, because like I really, really liked Rusted Angel. Like I remember hearing it at the time, and that was on War Music, and I don't think War Music put out anything that was bad.
Yeah. No, that's a special record, and he's got a great voice, definitely.
Yeah, I miss Darkane. Oh, he's back in Darkane. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, since 2011 or something.
Oh, sweet.
I had no idea until pretty recently.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well,
awesome.
So has DRAGONLORD ever played live?
Yeah, definitely. We've done some shows.
Okay.
We've done some festivals in Europe, and you could see our last show we did you can Google it on YouTube. We played in Japan 2006.
Oh.
And that was our last show that we ever did. So, and then we'll see about the future. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, there's no plans yet, but I definitely would have to assemble a lineup, put together, to do something. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Get the record out there, and use the other platform I was talking about, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be... Do you think it might be a little tough to squeeze that in before Testament? Because, Chuck told me the other day that you guys are hoping to have a new album out next year.
Yeah, that's a priority. So that's why I'm saying we'll see what happens.
Well, I hope I would love to see you guys on the road in the United States.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at least a couple shows. Do some kind of major city thing or something. We'll have to see what happens. But right now, I'm definitely booked for working on the New Testament. So that's going to be the first thing.
Okay. I have to tell you this, and I did tell this to Chuck the other day. I admire the hell out of y'all's tenacity. I mean, even when metal looked like it was dead and the band looked like it was over, you guys trudged on and you guys continued to release some really, really amazing material back when it seemed like nobody was listening. And I salute you guys.
Yeah,
for your dedication.
Low was kind of in that era.
Yeah.
And then even Demonic. I mean, that was a weird time too. So.
Yeah, and I remember the first time I saw Testament live was when you guys were touring for The Gathering, and you guys were playing really small venues, and it was such an incredible record.
Yeah, well, that's where the momentum picked up, was The Gathering for sure. That's when I think a lot of people, just from all the touring from Demonic and then pressing through and doing The Gathering, we toured for days on that record. Years, we were. Mm-hmm. It was like, I think 8 years until we did another record.
Yeah, it was a while.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to let you know that I salute you guys for your dedication. That's it speaks volumes, I think.
Right on.
Cool. So one last thing before we get off the phone, and it's on a more personal note. Alex's old roadie Kyle Sable was a friend of mine, and yeah. So I just, I wanted to give you some, belated condolences about him.
Yeah, he was a good guy. He's missed every day.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
He was a really good dude, and I miss running off and doing dumb things with him. he was that kind of guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of great stories with him.
Him and his Circle OK thing he did all the time. Yeah.
Yep. Well, Eric Peterson, I am really grateful for your time. I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you. Thank you for the interview.
Yeah, best of luck on it, and I hope to see you on the road.
All right, man. Well, thanks for your time, and everybody check out the record. It comes out September 21st.
Awesome. Thanks again, Eric.
Sweet. All right, take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, that was Mr. Eric Peterson of thrash metal titans Testament and geek black metal band DRAGONLORD. If anyone can be accused of being a true trooper and a true soldier for the cause of heavy metal, Eric Peterson is that guy. Testament are currently on the road with Lamb of God, Anthrax, and Napalm Death as part of that gigantic Slayer farewell tour that we were talking about. They're doing that through the end of August. In fact, they are here in San Antonio, Texas tonight. DRAGONLORD's new album, Dominion, will be released on September 21st, 2018, via Spinefarm Records. As always, please remember to subscribe to us and find us and like us on Facebook and Twitter and all that other good stuff. We're also on YouTube, and of course, you can also check us out at our website, sonicperspectives.com. We've also got our Talking Perspectives podcast, which, as I mentioned earlier this week, dropped not 1, but 2 episodes last week. Once again, this is Gonzo the Unpronounceable, and we're going to take you out with a track from that last DRAGONLORD album. This song is called Sins of Allegiance.